Hi guys, it's RJ from The Secret Stacks, and it's Saturday night, and I'm making a booktube video, which can only mean one thing. Blizzard Apocalypse 2016. I'm not going out tonight, I'm not going out tomorrow. I don't know when I'll be able to leave my house again. I live in Pennsylvania, and there's about 2 feet of snow outside my house. If you don't believe me, take a look. Check this out. That's 2 feet of snow. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at that. There are chairs there. You can't even see the chairs. They're buried. Wow. There's my car. I'm not going to be driving until about June when it melts. Look at that. I'm probably going to be stuck in my house for a week, which means two things. A lot of reading and a lot of catching up on booktube videos, which is awesome. I've already read 2 Maze Runner books today. But before I jump into the third one and to give my eyes a rest, I decided to make my very first book tag, the Blizzard book tag. Yeah, super original, I know. We'll start off easy with question number 1. What is your favorite wintry book cover? For this one, it's got to be Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. Love the duality, love the concept of the kingdoms as the seasons. Sounds really cool. It's on my TBR, I haven't read it yet. But the reason I picked it up is because the cover looks so damn cool. Alright, question number 2. What fictional technology, magic, or superpower would you most like to have during a snowstorm? For this one, I've got to go with the magic from the magicians. Now maybe that's kind of cheating because it's not one skill. Magic is really broad. But in the magicians, Alice and Quentin were able to cross the South Pole with nothing more than the clothes on their backs. Now I'm a big wimp and I hate the cold, so some warming magic would be totally awesome right about now. But what if you don't have any special magic or superpowers? Well, that leads me into question number 3. What fictional character would you most like to cuddle up with to keep warm? For this one, I'm going with Darla from the Ashfall series. Ashfall is a post-apocalyptic YA survival story where the supervolcano under Yellowstone National Park erupts, sending ash across the skies, blanketing America, and causing a deep freeze. The main character, Alex, meets Darla, who's a kick-ass farm girl, and she basically keeps him alive. There's a lot of cuddling up for survival, which eventually leads, obviously, to romance. I'm a big fan of her character because she's just a really strong female character, really broad, really interesting, and I really enjoy the Ashfall series. Alright, question number 4. Who's your favorite character that's a bit icy to begin with, but warms up as the series goes along? For this one, I'm going with Teresa from The Maze Runner. Like I said, I just read both books this morning, and she's great. She doesn't care if you like her, but she's going to save your life, whether you like it or not. Question number 5. What fictional group of friends would you most like to have in a snowball fight? I should mention that this is on your team. And I was originally going to say the cast of characters from Game of Thrones because they're ruthless. But then I got to thinking, the amount of backstabbing that happens, it would only be a matter of time until someone stuffed a handful of snow down the back of your jacket, which is basically the snowball fight equivalent of the Red Wedding. Question number 6. What character would you most like to smack in the face with a snowball? Now, with this one, I'm going with Gale from the Hunger Games, which I know, don't get mad at me. I am Team Peeta, but that's not the reason here. Again, as I'm snowed in, I watched Mockingjay Part 1 today, and Gale needs to lighten up. Like, seriously. Again, I don't want to kill him, he's not the bad guy, but a nice snowball in the face might be just the thing he needs to shake him up, make him loose, and just a little more interesting of a character. Number 7, because it's freezing out there, what's a book that reminds you of vacation? Now, my answer is going to be a little weird here, but when I came up with this question, it reminded me of the summers that I spent at my grandparents' house. They were really big readers and had this great collection of really eclectic books. When I was a little kid and I couldn't go outside, it was raining and whatnot, I used to pick through them, but these were not the books that we had at my house. My grandparents were pretty edgy people. They had a lot of banned books, a lot of old school books, but really books that pushed the edge of controversy. And one of the first that I read was Peyton Place by Grace Metalius. Again, I have no idea how to pronounce these people's names. It's a story of 3 women who live in a conservative New England town as they come to terms with their identities and their sexuality. This is probably the first book that I ever read that had sex in it. It's got a lot of controversial topics. It's from the 50s, so it's really not that crazy, but for the time, it was pretty wild. It was eventually made into a TV show, which is most popular for being the very first soap opera. So that should give you an idea of what kind of book it is. Question number 8. What book has a warm getaway that you'd like to escape to right now? Like I said, I've been reading The Maze Runner and just finished The Scorched Trials, so that's the thing that comes to my mind. But again, that's not exactly your fun kind of vacation. So I'm going to go with a really obscure book called Again to Carthage. This book is a sequel to Once a Runner, which is generally considered the greatest running book of all time, which I don't think I've mentioned this in any of my videos before, but I used to be a competitive cross-country runner. So again, this is probably only interesting for me, but it's set in the Florida Panhandle, and just a really great deep dive into life down there and a runner's struggle. Question number 9. Power goes out. What's the book that you have on your bedside or loaded up on your Kindle or iPad that's your go-to, that you have just in case you don't have access to anything else? For me, I've got my giant, all 5 volumes as part of one ebook, Game of Thrones. The power could be out a week and I'd still be reading. So far I've been lucky, and hopefully everyone else has been too. I hope you're staying warm and safe and have a good book to read too. I'm going to jump back under the covers, try to keep warm, but first, got to tag a couple of people. First I'm going to tag Allie from Allie Baba to Books. I think I said it right that time, Allie. I'm going to tag The Pampered Pages. I'm going to tag The Bookish Four Eyes, Bookaflix Taylor, and I'm going to tag you. I always feel a lot of pressure, like when I get tagged, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? So I feel nervous about tagging other people. If that makes any sense, I know I'm weird. But yeah, I definitely do want to tag more people. Want to know how you guys are doing, what you're reading to survive through the snowstorm. So let me know down in the comments below, and I hope to see your videos soon.